everyone. Welcome back to another lesson of Actual English. I'm Jennifer Clyde. It's time for lesson 366, and let's talk about Families Part 1, focusing on childhood myths. Now, what is a myth, first of all? A myth is like an idea or a story that's not true. Usually, children believe in myths. There's, for example, in America, the Easter Bunny. There's the fairy tooth. There's Santa Claus, for example. There are fairy tales. Fairy tales are kind of similar to myths as well. These are beliefs of something that is not necessarily true. Okay, so what kinds of myths could you think of when it comes to Korean myths? We'll talk about that today. Here we go with Actual Talk.
You know what, Gareth? You'll never guess. I lost a tooth, and I'm actually considering putting it under my pillow.
You might get rich.
You think?
Yes.
Do you believe that in Ireland, too?
Of course, yeah. Put it under the pillow, make some money. How about Korea?
I hear that when you lose a tooth, you're supposed to throw it over a roof. And I'm not sure what that brings, but I know that you're correct about the money in Canada. I don't know if as an adult that means I make a fortune, but once when I was a kid, I pulled out a lot of teeth in the hopes. And I never forget how devastated I was when I found out that the Easter Bunny wasn't real.
Oh God, I remember lots of myths as well. One's like if you eat lots of carrots, it'll improve your eyesight and you can see in the dark. Did you ever hear that one?
No.
Yeah, well, that was a big one in Ireland. But I remember that was debunked when during my teenage years, I couldn't see it all, and I ate so many carrots.
Did you really?
I did.
Well, you were very diligent.
I was.
As a child, that's part of the fun of it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I took it really seriously.
Oh, yeah.
Tooth Fairy, Easter Bunny. What else did we have in
Eat
Canada?
lots of spinach, you'll grow up to be big and strong like Popeye.
Those were tricks that adults implemented.
Absolutely. I was skinny and weak, unlike Popeye.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say that. But I mean, they're kind of fun. I feel like you lose a piece of your childhood when you stop believing in that fun stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then I guess parents get to enjoy them later.
Yes, yeah. And it gets you to eat your veg, right?
Well, I know that if I have a child, I'm going to have them believing in the Tooth Fairy, the Easter Bunny, and, a couple little magical things here and there.
Sure.
Why not? Mickey Mouse is real?
Yeah.
All right, well, I still think Mickey Mouse is real.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. It's time for us to take a deeper look into today's actual talk. We had Gareth and Kelly talking about what? Childhood myths. They gave us a few examples, so let's take a look at it together. Here we go. Kelly says, you know what, Gareth? You'll never guess. Okay, so this sentence implies that she is perhaps going to tell us something very important or interesting. She says, I lost a tooth. Oh, okay. Lose a tooth. You could pull out a tooth, okay? A tooth or teeth grow in. 이가 자라나다. You could pull out a tooth. 이를 뽑다, right? You can also lose a tooth. You could go to the dentist to have your tooth pulled out, but when your tooth naturally falls out, you would say that you lose a tooth or lost a tooth. So she says, I lost a tooth and I'm actually considering putting it under my pillow. Now, in America, for example, if you lose a tooth, especially kids, when they lose their baby teeth, they put it under their pillow at night when they go to sleep. Okay, there is a special reason we do that. We'll be talking about it later. Anyhow, Garrett says, you might get rich. Do, meaning what? Yes, do put that tooth under your pillow. Why? You might get rich. You think, she says? Yes. Now, she asks, do you believe that in Ireland too? So she's asking about whether people in Ireland believe that the tooth fairy will come and give you money in exchange for the tooth. Okay. He says, yeah, put it under the pillow, make some money. How about Korea? Now let's talk about Korea. Well, I hear that when you lose a tooth, once again, lose a tooth. We're probably talking about children losing their baby teeth once again. What happens? You're supposed to throw it over a roof. Okay. I've heard about this several times as well. I've searched the net. I've asked people to search the net. I've asked people around for what reason people do this. But, people had different reasons. I'm not quite sure, but I think people just did it because it was just a routine thing that everyone did. But there is a belief that a magpie, magpie type of bird, they would come, fetch the tooth, and take it away. And it means that you will have a new tooth growing in very soon, a healthy tooth. So in Korea, people don't put it under their pillow, but rather throw it over the roof. Okay? And she says, I'm not sure what that brings, but I know that you're correct about the money in Canada. Okay, so here she's talking about Canada. So in Ireland, in Canada, also in the US. In America, what children usually do is put their tooth under their pillow when they go to sleep. And she says, I don't know if as an adult, that means I'll make a fortune. Okay. Fortune can mean several things. It can mean inheritance, it can mean estate, it can be wealth, but simply put, let's think of it as money. Okay, so she's saying, as a child, you would put it under your pillow and the tooth fairy will come leave you some money, okay, in exchange for the tooth. But as an adult, I'm not sure if you'll make a fortune, if you'll make money, okay, by putting that tooth under the pillow. But once, when I was a kid, now she's giving us an example of when she was a kid. What happened? I pulled out a lot of teeth in the hopes. So here, she did not naturally lose teeth, but she had the dentist pull out a lot of her teeth, or she forcefully pulled out her teeth. Why? In the hopes. Usually in the hopes of something is added, but she just says in the hopes. Usually when you say in the hopes, it means that you are expecting something to happen. You're wishing for something to happen. So in this case, the omitted part would be that she pulled out a lot of teeth in the hopes of the tooth fairy coming to leave her a lot of money. Okay? And I'll never forget how devastated I was when I found out that the Easter Bunny wasn't real. Now this is another example. Devastate should be D-E-V-A-S-T-A-T-E. Here we go. You can be devastated, or something can devastate you. If you say that you're devastated, it means that you're overwhelmed, especially as with grief or even shock. Okay? So she's just saying that she was really disappointed. She was really sad to find out that the Easter Bunny was not real. Nope, the Easter Bunny is not real. Okay? Oh God. Gareth says, I remember lots of myths as well. So we're talking about what? Childhood myths today. Once again, a myth is what? It's a story that's created. It's not a real story. It can be an idea. It can be a concept. But usually, we're talking about stories that are made or created for children to believe in. Okay? So he says, I remember lots of myths as well. Ones like, he's giving us examples. If you eat lots of carrots. Lots of is easy. But just to help you use it properly in a sentence, I've chosen that as one of our patterns for today. Lots of means just a great deal of something, a large quantity of something, a large number of something, many, for instance. If you eat many carrots, if you eat lots of carrots, it'll improve your eyesight. That's right. So if you ate a lot of carrots or many carrots, it was known to improve your eyesight. And you can see in the dark. Aha! He believed that you can see in the dark. See in the dark, meaning see with the lights off. If we turn off the lights, it becomes pitch dark, black, very dark, right? But he believed as a child that if he ate lots of carrots, he would be able to see in the dark, okay? And then he says, did you ever hear of that one, meaning seeing in the dark? Kelly says no. That was a big one in Ireland. Aha, so in Ireland, a lot of children believed in that myth that if you eat lots of carrots, you can see in the dark. But I remember that was debunked during my teenage years. Debunk. D. D-E usually means what? Minus. Take away. Okay? So D basically means something was taken away. Minus. Debunk. Let's say, for example, if you debunk a belief, you are making sure, or you're just saying that it is not real, okay? So you can debunk something, show people, tell people, make known that it is false, not real. So it was debunked during his teenage years. He found out that it was not true, that it was not real in his teenage years. And he said, I couldn't see it all, and I ate so many carrots. All right. So Kelly says, did you really? Meaning, did you really eat a lot of carrots? Well, you were very diligent. Diligent is usually used to describe people that are very hardworking. A lot of Koreans are expressed to be very diligent workers. So if you're very careful, if you're thorough, if you're hardworking, you would probably describe that person as a very diligent person. Okay? I was, he says, meaning I was very diligent. As a child, that's part of the fun of it. As a child, that's part of the fun of it. Meaning, yeah, believing in myths is fun as a child. I mean, I took it really seriously. You can take something seriously. Take a seriously, which means that you are considering it to be very valuable, true, for example. It's important to you if you take something seriously. So she says, the Tooth Fairy, Easter Bunny, she took the Tooth Fairy seriously, meaning that she believed in the Tooth Fairy. She believed in the Easter Bunny, okay? And then she says, what else did we have? What other kind of myth? What else did children believe in? Well, Garrett says, eat lots of spinach. Ah, that's right, I remember this. I remember people saying, eat lots of spinach. Why? You'll grow up to be big and strong, like Popeye. Okay. I think the Korean way of pronouncing this guy is Popeye. Okay, it's like that po sound. But in American English or even British English, it's Popeye. It's more of a pop sound. So it's Popeye. Popeye, not Popeye, okay? But it's true. As kids, our parents would say, eat lots of spinach. You'll be strong and healthy, just like Popeye. Anyhow, Carolee says, those were tricks that adults implemented. If you implement something, you make sure that something is done. You make sure that it happens. So those were tricks that adults implemented. Yes, they made children eat lots of spinach. Absolutely, I was skinny and weak, unlike Popeye, he says. Okay, moving on to the final parts of the conversation. Well, they're kind of fun. And Kelly says, you lose a piece of your childhood. You lose a piece of your childhood. A part of your childhood, when? When you stop believing in that fun stuff. When you stop believing in those myths. And Garrett says, yes, and it gets you to eat your veg, meaning vegetables, right? Okay, veg or veggies in the plural form, veggies usually written as V-E-G-G-I-E-S, is just a shorter form for vegetables or a cuter, informal way of saying vegetables. So he says, yeah, it gets you to eat your veggies, your vegetables, those myths. But if I have a child, she says, I'm going to have them believe in what? The tooth fairy, the Easter bunny, and she says a couple of little magical things here and there. A couple of other myths here and there. Here and there means what? In various places, in many places. Here and there, here and there. So it basically means not everywhere, but some here, some there, in various places. Okay, and then, yes, I guess that brings us to an end to today's conversation. It was interesting, wasn't it? I hope that today's conversation, today's actual talk, reminded you of your childhood and of some very interesting and one of your favorites, or many of your favorite childhood myths. Let's take a listen one more time.
You know what, Gareth? You'll never guess. I lost a tooth, and I'm actually considering putting it under my pillow.
Do. You
Well.
might get rich.
You think?
Yes.
Do you believe that in Ireland, too?
Of course, yeah. Put it under the pillow, make some money. How about Korea?
I hear that when you lose a tooth, you're supposed to throw it over a roof. And I'm not sure what that brings, but I know that you're correct about the money in Canada. I don't know if as an adult that means I make a fortune, but once when I was a kid, I pulled out a lot of teeth in the hopes. And I never forget how devastated I was when I found out that the Easter bunny wasn't real.
Oh God, I remember lots of myths as well. One's like if you eat lots of carrots, it'll improve your eyesight and you can see in the dark. Did you ever hear that one?
No.
Yeah, well, that was a big one in Ireland. But I remember that was debunked when during my teenage years, I couldn't see it all, and I ate so many carrots.
Did you really?
I did.
Well, you were very diligent.
I was.
As a child, that's part of the fun of it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I took it really seriously.
Oh yeah.
Tooth fairy, Easter bunny. What else did we have in
Eat lots of
Canada?
spinach, you'll grow up to be big and strong like Popeye.
Those were tricks that
Yeah.
adults implemented.
Absolutely. I was
Yeah.
skinny and weak, unlike
Oh.
Popeye.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say that. But I mean, they're kind of
Yeah.
fun. I feel like
Absolutely.
you lose a piece of your childhood when you stop believing in that fun stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then I guess parents get to enjoy them later.
Yes, yeah. And it gets you to eat your veg, right?
Well, I know that if I have a child, I'm going to have them believing in the tooth fairy, and the
course.
Easter bunny, and,
Yeah.
you know, a couple little magical things here and there.
Sure.
You know, why not? Mickey Mouse is real.
Yeah.
All right, well, I still think Mickey Mouse is real.
Okay, now it's time for actual expressions, everyone. Are you ready to review the vocab words and the patterns? Here we go. The first word we have for you is fortune. Fortune. This could be slightly tricky to pronounce. Fortune. Fortune. We're talking about inheritance, as I mentioned. Opulence. Money. Okay, this is the simplest, the easiest synonym. If you say, he made a fortune, it means he made a lot of money. Okay? Moving on to devastate. Devastate. Kelly said that she was devastated when she found out that the Easter bunny was not real. So, ruin, wreck, okay? You can be devastated, which means to be overwhelmed with especially shock or even grief. Devastate, devastate. What about myth? We're talking about these created stories or ideas or concepts, okay? They're not real, so they can be called fables, fantasy. This is a good one. Imagination. It's not real. These stories are created. They're imaginary stories. Debunk. This probably is a new word for many of you out there. Debunk, debunk, unmask, disprove, deflate. But debunk basically, as I mentioned, if you debunk a belief, for example, you're showing people that it's not real. You're showing people that it is false. Okay? Moving on to diligent. This one's easy. Stress goes right there. Diligent. We're talking about a very attentive, okay, a persistent, hardworking, and careful and thorough person. Implement. Here we go. Implement. Implement. If you implement A, for example, if you implement something, you are ensuring that that thing is done. So some synonyms are achieve, complete, enforce, even actualize. Okay, moving on to our first pattern. In the hopes of something. Okay, Kelly mentioned that she pulled out a lot of her teeth in the hopes of, I guess, making lots of money. So here we go. Wishing that would be the meaning. I was in the hopes of, I was wishing, I was hoping to get to my hometown. Using in the hopes of, I was in the hopes of getting to my hometown in less than 2 hours during the holidays. But it took 5, meaning 5 hours. Okay? I was in the hopes of getting to my hometown, arriving in my hometown in less than 2 hours. But it took 5 hours. Lots of. Very easy. Lots of means just a large quantity of, large number of, a great deal of. So, well, how can you use it in a sentence? Lots of people bought tickets to the concert. Instead of just simply saying many people bought tickets to the concert, try using lots of. You can really make use of it. Lots of people bought tickets to the concert. Lots of tickets were sold. Lots of people were aiming for the same goal. Lots of. And moving on to our final one, here and there, meaning in various places, in different places. Okay, here we go. Lily lived here and there, meaning Lily lived in various places, in different places, never for more than a year in one city. So this basically means that she traveled a lot, she moved around a lot. So Lily lived here and there in various places. So please do keep these patterns and vocab words in mind. Job well done!